All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Dark Portal, your dedicated TBC community show. So welcome back, guys. We have a very special Mage deep dive for you with a specific focus on PvP. We've already done a Mage deep dive so far, starring Jigsaw and my man Riddle, but this one is going to be more PvP focused, and hopefully you can get something out of it. I'm joined today by my lovely and amazing co-host Crix. How we doing, brother?
I'm doing amazing, bro. How you doing?
Doing fantastic, my friend. Great to have
bro.
you. Thank you for that host for setting us up here.
Man.
And then we
24-hour.
also have two guests you probably have not met before, chat. We have my good buddy Icyfresh, who's been our Guildian hype on the unspeakable servers. Great to have you here, Icy. How you doing, man? Oh, you might be on mute, brother.
Yep, my bad. Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited. This is going to be really fun.
The feeling is mutual, man. And then we also have Instacrafd, who is someone I met recently. We met on hostile terms, fighting for a rank on Windrunner. It was a hell of a season, man. We had some epic matches. And then, after the season's all said and done, everybody's kind of got that sportsmanship. You're patting each other on the back, and just saying like, good season and stuff. We had amazing matches and kind of befriended him that way. And he's here to provide specifically like Palm Pyro and Fire PvP perspective to you guys. So Instacrafd, welcome, man. Great to have you here. How are you feeling today, man?
Hello guys, thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm so excited to explain how I like to play Pyro and what I do and why I'm doing it, and the hype is here.
The hype is here indeed. Let us know if there's any issues with the sound, folks. Sometimes there is. Looks fine from my end, but yeah, let us know how we're doing. So let's get right into it. Let's go into our next scene. We have the beta client up, so we can jump in on a mage if at any point we need to demonstrate anything, take a look at talents, racials, etc. But as always, we have our trusty dusty PowerPoint slides. So here's the agenda, episode 18. Welcome back. We're going to just do some guest introductions. So if you could be so kind, Icy, maybe you could talk to the people. First of all, because Icy's a humble dude, let me just say something. Icy is a beast, guys. He's like multi-glad, played the game forever. One of the best mages on the planet Earth, and he's actually from NA by some miracle. I like to joke around and call him NA's last hope, And he was watching us do hardcore at the same time, though. Like, he actually watched the hardcore streams and like has sort of interest on that side of things. We played together on WR. He's been an amazing mentor. I mean, he's an absolute beast. So sorry, Icy. If you could tell the people your WoW story, like how did it all start for you? How did you get here?
Oh god, I feel like you just told it for me. I started playing the game back in the Burning Crusade. Was mostly a PvP player. I started by playing my rogue until a friend of mine during actual TBC told me about private servers, which questionable, but I ended up trying them in actual TBC and found a server where you could instantly play level 70, and I realized I liked Mage playstyle a lot more than Rogue. So in Season 2, I just said, screw it, I'm going to play my Mage, and I fell in love with the playstyle and the class. I got Glad in Season 4 and Rank 1 in Season 3.
Ooh, Rank 1.
Yeah, I wasn't super fond of Death Knights in Season 5, so like a lot of people, I kind of stopped playing the game, which I regret. But what I don't regret is all the time I got to spend on arena private servers. Ever since then, I was a huge fan of Mage's playstyle in level 70 arena, more than anything else I've ever felt in this game. I played TBC arena private servers till probably around Cataclysm, and during about the mid-Cataclysm, I started trying out Wrath, and then went back to play Mists of Pandaria on actual, like, retail WoW again. I ended up hitting 2800 in 3s, and near 2700 in 2s with a buddy of mine. We were top 20 NA in Season 15.
Nice.
Wasn't a huge fan of it after, but as soon as I heard Classic TBC was coming, or not Classic TBC, but Classic WoW in general, I signed up just to show support for Blizzard, hoping that they would do classic TBC, and here we are.
Hell yeah, brother. That's awesome. And I guess another to follow up, is TBC your favorite version of PvP? Maybe it isn't. I'm not sure. But what draws you to TBC PvP? Because you do have experience, playing on many different iterations.
Most people would say that like Wrath of the Lich King the best because it was faster paced, but preference, I actually always did prefer TBC PvP because before they kind of merged all the different tools from different classes into like every different class. Back in TBC, like if you're playing a mage in arena, you didn't have any stuns to deal with resto druids, so you needed to synergize with your rogue, and like all the threes combinations were about finding classes that had strengths and weaknesses that kind of minced well together so that you could, or mixed well together so you can support each other, and synergy with your partners like mattered a lot. And you kind of lose that in later expansions because say I'm playing Disc Mage in TBC, I can't do anything against druids. I have to completely play around my priest and synergize with him and play off of his fears and help him get them with slows. Where in Wrath, I can just deep freeze and he can run up.
Deep freeze. I haven't heard that ability in a hot minute, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deep freeze, chaos bolt. Yeah, there's some good ones there. So, okay.
I kind of preferred it when all the classes were a bit weaker and they needed assistance from each other, and it wasn't just about going in and doing your damage and pressing the buttons. It was about timing, the positioning, what your partners were doing to help you with them, cross CC. All of that is super important in the Burning Crusade. More so than later expansions, I think.
Gotcha. Plus the gear looks sick, am I right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that, man. I mean, quite a beast, as you can see, guys. Next up, we got my man Instacrafd. No idea your backstory, brother. How did it all start for you? Did you start playing vanilla, TBC? How'd you get here?
So yeah, I started playing TBC, I think it's 2010, and I was playing a warrior. Then I was playing Holy Paladin, until one day I started playing a mage. I've never been top dog, never reached a higher rating before. Maximum I've got it's the shoulders on season 3 on 2K, and I think my biggest peak was season 4 in a private server, which I got them S4 weapons, and I've reached 2.1k, and that's the maximum I've reached. I've never played Frost Mage. I actually did for a week or two, and then I just I didn't like it that much. It wasn't my playstyle. And then I have respect to Full Fire. Then I couldn't actually find out myself there until I found the Pompyro.
Pompyro is your one true love, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the good in the spec is like people, they don't know from where it comes, man. They can't predict that.
That's why we're here, man. We're going to talk about it. This is all Instacraft's idea, by the way, folks. Instacrafd, it's rare to find somebody who's so passionate about kind of a fringe PvP spec or a more niche PvP spec. Even Icy is like curious, to learn something from Instacraft's take on Pompyro, because this is probably one of the few people on the planet that are like really passionate about Pompyro, so he's here to share what he knows. Craigs, how do you feel about these dumb mages, man? Do you like him as a Chad Warlock or what?
I don't mind him as a warlock or a priest, really. Not really. They can be annoying. They can be really annoying. Other than that, no, they don't really bug me. They're fun to play too. I've never really PvP when I was garbage when I tried to PvP one. Shocker. But,
yeah. You're playing with one today, huh? On the beta?
I was playing with him for a while today, and we won every game. It was weird because I played with the rogue. He was on his rogue, and we won. And I was on a priest. And then we switched to his mage, and it was domination because it was the difference of being like a good mage. He was a really good mage, right? And it was like butter. The escapability, bro. So every time I think he would die, he had that block. There was so much survivability. I really liked it.
Gotcha. Yeah, almost got Venruki though.
Yeah, we almost beat Venruki, yeah. Barely, but we didn't, though.
Nice. Okay. Well, let's jump right into some of the meat and potatoes. The next real, first substantial slide we have here is strengths and weaknesses of the mage. Anything you come to mind, chat, you can participate too. Just taking a few steps out and just looking at the mage in TBC. What do you feel are its strengths? What do you enjoy about the class, maybe too? It might tie in with that. Anyone can just jump in here, or weaknesses.
Icy, I'll let you go first.
Okay, I guess we're starting with Frost then instead of Pompyro. One of the strengths is it has insane amounts of control over the game that it's in, and it can sort of counterplay what your opponents want to do. It's very much like a puppet master, kind of, if you play it properly, with the polys rotating out on the targets to peel for your partners, on top of this polys you can throw on the healers and counterspell to lock them down from healing their partners when they need to. It's really good at escaping and surviving, as Crick said earlier. With Blink, Ice Block, all the slows and novas, you can kite most melee and survive in situations where other classes mostly wouldn't. Like, it's a really squishy class, it's only a clothy, but instead of being tanky, it makes up for it by being able to avoid and mitigate most of the damage that it would deal with good positioning.
Well said, man. One thing that Jigsaw said too a while ago, I remember it just kind of resonated with me, is he was saying, if you have mana, and if you're okay with like hemorrhaging mana for a second, you can slow the entire arena down. You can control the entire arena. You can just directly translate that mana into just jerk and complete control of the arena. Does that make
Accurate.
sense to you? Yeah.
Rotate polys on someone, throw an improved blizzard down on the melee, it's a 75% slow. Suddenly your priest who thought he was about to die just gets to put a renew on himself and walk away.
Yeah, it's kind of flavorful too, the RP of it, right? Because mages are so powerful, but they're so reliant on their blue bar, right? But like they have infinite power if they have that blue bar. Yeah.
It's just hard maintaining it over longer games. That would be one of the weaknesses of Frost.
Yeah. Similar to rogues too, it seems like they just have a ton of cooldowns that they can chew through, and they're so like lackadaisical with their trinket usage, like being able to block through stuff and all that.
True, that is also another good point, because they have Blink to get themselves out of stuns and fix positioning. They'll have Ice Block, and after Hypothermia falls off with Cold Snap, they have a second Ice Block. So most of the times, if you're playing a Disc Mage comp, for example, or Healer Mage, when you queue into a double DPS that's trying to end the game, they'll feel like they want to CC your healer and go you, but because of the amount of defensives you have, it's basically a trap. Like, Mage with a healer, in my opinion, should counter every double DPS comp in the game if played properly.
Gotcha. How do you... what about Mage's damage? Do you think a Frost Mage does a lot of damage relative to other classes? I mean, Warriors...
damage, yeah.
Disgusting damage? Really? Up there with Warriors and Rogues and stuff?
If you can get shatter combos off, you just delete half of someone's health bar if it crits. Like, it's not sustained damage as much as a Warrior or a Rogue, but more very, very high burst damage. And even if you can't get casts off in situations where you want to just use instants, which is instants and scorches are really good in the earlier seasons before you get haste, you're still being able to maintain a somewhat high amount of damage if you're weaving Ice Lances in on frozen targets with Frostbite and Novas.
Do you think, like, again, it doesn't have to be super scientific here, but, like, do you think if left to your own devices next to a rogue, if they had full uptime on just, like, a shaman or a warlock just sitting out in the open, you could do more damage than a rogue?
If I can cast, yes.
If you can cast. Yeah. That's cool. So the damage is really nothing to sleep on with Mage, yeah. Okay, how about any weaknesses maybe that come to mind with Frost? There's got to be some with every class and spec.
Mana. If it runs out of mana in long games against, for example, Hunter Resto Druid with Viper Sting, or Warlock Resto Druid with Blue Beam you love to shoot so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Suddenly they can't last in the longer games, and they're kind of on a time limit, because with Mage you can't really win most of the games by just stalling and like drawing out your opponent's resources. You have to be going in with your partner aggressively and trying to set up CC and playing off of the crowd control, fears off of polys, mana burns against some comps. But you're always trying to end the game offensively and force a kill. And there's a comps that will specifically be very good at surviving and drawing the game out and win through outlasting. And that would be one of the huge weaknesses of Mage, in my opinion.
You don't last too long, huh?
Yeah, well, with some comps you can, and if you have a Spirit Staff swap for PvP, it's actually really good for longer games. With good use of Mana Gem and Evocation, you can manage your mana up for a really long time. But, for example, if you queue into Hunter, Warlock, and Arresto Druid in 3s with Drain Mana and Viper Sting, if you don't win in like the first 2 minutes, you're not really playing the rest of the game.
Yeah.
You don't have much of a choice about that.
Was really curious about this, you know, like the twos meta, and we'll get to this more later, folks, but you think of the top twos teams, you think of Lock Druid, you think of DPL, Disc Priest Lock, you think of Rogue Druid, you think of Rogue Priest, you think of all these, right? Like the only one that I hear of is with Mage is DPM, is Disc Priest Mage. You don't really hear Druid Mage, you don't hear... but anyway, out of those kind of like control healer DPS comps, did they have the least longevity, DPM? Do you think?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean.
Oh, in terms of like, you know, I see all those comps as like kind of control comps. Like they go the distance, they are healer DPS as opposed to double DPS. Like, are you on the clock more than? I mean, Warlock teams have tap. You know, they have Rogue teams have limitless.
Mage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that more when we get there. I'm curious which of those, though, you actually feel favored as DPM against, like, you know, whether it's LD or DPR or what have you.
Specific matchups, I feel like Disc Priest Mage counters Disc Priest Rogue, for example. It's really unfavored against a good Warlock Druid or a good Hunter Druid.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Gotcha, man. This is some
like
nice...
Also
Go ahead.
I feel like mages are pretty vulnerable to dispels as well.
That too.
Pretty hard to master. I'd say one of the harder classes to master as well. Pretty squishy, lowest HP out of all the casters, I believe. And yeah, it's about relies on your setups as well, right? Because of the shatters. If you can't get a shatter, you're not really pumping.
And one thing that most people who play other classes that try and swap to Mage or try and play with Mage as well, don't understand as much, is it's not really about how much damage you do over the duration of the game. It's about how much damage is being done at the correct times and controlled bursts. Like if you're just pumping damage into life blooms that are consistently being reapplied and limiting your mana bar lower and lower, just wasting it, it's not really doing anything for the game, even though at the end it'll say you had a huge damage number. It's all about you go in with your priest, for example, the priest will get a fear bomb, then you do damage on a kill target while the other one's CC'd, trying to pump out as much as you can in that burst, and then pulling off of a fear and continuing the CC chain however you can. But after that ends, if, like, Druid with Trinket, for example, NS and get heals off and you can't prevent it, a lot of the time continuing damage from there might be a waste of mana.
Mm-hmm. As a Warlock, those are
timing.
Super wise words, Icy, because I'll finish the end of the game and feel miserable and be like, oh my god, like this rogue was trading so much better in terms of damage, but then I'll see that I did a lot of damage at the end of the game, you know, on the post game screen. But it goes to show if that, like, just a light steady flow of damage doesn't really do much, right? Like it's all about getting that damage in when it matters.
Yep.
Yeah. So true. Great start. Okay, well, let's just this is just light touch. Let's move on to Palm Pyro and on the fire side of things as well. I think a lot of people are curious, like, can you even play Fire Mage as Palm Pyro? Like, the floor is yours, Instacrafd. What do you have to say, strengths and weaknesses of the Fire or Palm Pyro Mage?
All right, so let's go, guys.
Let's go.
Fire spec and Palm Pyro. So you're not gonna see this spec on very high rated. So you never see a Gladiator's Palm Pyro or people who are very high. The only reason is that you have so many weaknesses, and with Frost you have Ice Barrier, This is such a huge thing. You know when the damage is coming, and you can pop your ice barrier. Even if the things get worse, you have a deep freeze. Sorry, not deep freeze. The shutter thing. I see how it's called actually. When the roaches hit you, sometimes they get freeze.
Oh, frostbite.
Frostbite.
Yeah, frostbite. Okay, you have a frostbite. Then, even though if the things get worse, you can ice block. Then you can reset with another ice block, another ice barrier, another frost nova, another cone of cold. Which bomb you don't have that. With fire and with arcane you don't have nothing. So basically here you have to be really careful what you blink. You have to be really careful what you trinket, and you really have to play with the map. The map, how you place your character on any arena. This is how you're gonna win the games, and that's the problem with the Pomparo. So the weakness that you have, it's you can't survive burst with Pomparo. Any burst that you have from, especially roaches. What the roaches do, the good ones, they do garrote. They don't do hemo. They do garrote, just only one hemo and viscerate. So they just burst me as much as they can, and they go vanish. And what we end up here, because I'm having only one armor, which is called mana armor, mana shield.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they've got my health. They also get my mana, and they went vanish. So I have nothing to do. So here I'm just waiting again to pop me out. Meanwhile, they probably put shift on me, which I'm slowed, and this is where it gets so complicated. That's why you can't actually see Pompyro that viable, because you can't do much.
Mm-hmm.
And then the another weaknesses you have, it's all the silences. Here I'm speaking when you're playing against Locke. They have pet, they can silence you, they have death coil, they have fear, they have million resistance. So you can't actually push them to do so they can go defensive. They never go defensive against you. Like with Frost Mage, you can hide, you can spam your ice barrier, you can put your pet. The pet can Frost Nova someone on the other side of the arena, so you can fight another. With Pom you don't have that. The only good thing that you have with Pom, the strength and the style that I'm playing, is with slow. So I'm going deep arcane until slow, because this is the only thing that can buy me time. Especially when I'm playing against Locke, I can slow him or I can slow the pet, and then I can run away and reset. I can just go a little bit to do a couple of ticks of first aid, or I can just go, and if I'm playing undead, I can eat a corpse. This is something that you can do, and this is the only thing you can do. And basically that's why with Pompyro is not playing with a healer. The only there is a different spec you can play with healer, and Spank he's playing this spec, which is more fire, and then you have a burst. But this also, it's a absolutely different world. This is more Spank thing, and I really appreciate that he've done this, because it's totally different than my playstyle, and actually works. But still, even Spank, he's a multi-gladiator, he's a really good player. I don't think he can compete on 2200 rating with this spec.
With the spec?
With the spec he can reach 2k, he can go a little bit, but he can't go gladiator with this spec.
Now slow, you mentioned slow. Here it is, folks. It's literally just called slow. I remember this, back in the day, just seeing this thing on you and being confused of what this even was on you. It's a very powerful ability. Reduces target's movement speed by 50%. I mean, that's basically, Crix, to put it in our Warlock language, always on-demand amplified exhaustion, on the target, reducing ranged attacks by 50%, increasing casting time by 50%. That is incredibly powerful. So, yeah, it does seem, I agree with everything you're saying, man, but it is cool that you get this, ability, and there's no cooldown on it, right? So you can just spam it on people, even despite the...
Yeah, so you can spam that. The only weakness that you have here now is that this can be dispelled. And cost a lot of mana. If you think about it, I think it's around 500 mana, which is quite a lot. And when you're fighting a Resto Druid, the only way you can slow him is that, at Pompyro. And what's happening, he's just changing form, and he don't have slow anymore. With Frost Mage, you can spam rank 1 Frostbolt, and you can do something. With Pompario you can't. The only way you can stop a Resto Druid from stop running around and do whatever they want, it's to pray for impact stun from fire spell. This is the only way you can stop him from something. And do you know how many times I'm playing and I can see that I will be cycloned, or my friend is getting cycloned, and I'm just doing a scorch or something fire, and I'm praying for impact, and then I can silence and we can turn the game around when he's not prepared for that. So yeah, and with the spec that I'm playing, also the very important thing is Ignite. It's on fire 3 on the second row.
And there it is. Yep.
Next to the range ones. Yeah. So the Ignite, what Ignites do, when you crit a fire spell, it gives a tick. So I think the maximum you can do is if you crit your Pomp Arrow and then you crit your Fire Blast, then the tick of that every second is like 1.7.
Oh my god.
Which is a lot. Imagine you hit 6k Pomp Arrow, 2k Fire Blast, 2.5 actually, and then you have Ignite 1.7. You basically one-shot everything. And that's why my favorite thing is double pomp, because even if we don't crit with double pomp, we still win the target. And a lot of people, this is the problem with the pomp arrow. You get a lot of hate from players. Players just talk trash you a lot. They insult you and stuff like that. It's only because they underestimate you and they think, oh, that's trash spec, And you go there. You win them and it's minus 29, bro. And then they cry and they start going offline, disbanding teams and stuff like that. And I can't do nothing about it. They have to be prepared for that. If you're not prepared playing against Pompyro, you're going offline. You're trying to dodge these Pompyro measures. And I've been witnessing a lot of people. I'm getting online and they just stop queuing arenas because they know that I will queue and this will cost them like minus 29. And this is some very, very, very top players. I remember in a private server when people was trying to push for Gladiator, and it's me down there on 18. And you know that there is a chance you can face me, this will be minus 29. And that's the problem with the Pompyro. You actually can't go any higher than that, and when it's very competitive, but it's fun. I absolutely love it, and yeah, I think that's it. I'll speak for other stuff later on.
I think one thing that they're missing because fire that really hurts the mage is the water elemental. The water element is pretty huge for a mage, man. That's instant setup, that's slows, that's everything. A lot of damage, 800 tick or something.
I always wanted to test this. If you just stood still, like let's say as a rogue or something, and you let the water elemental just fully pink parse you, would you die? To one water elemental just casting over and over on you? Like, would it kill?
20 seconds of him hitting you for frostbolts that hits you for 800.
Yeah.
Maybe, you might.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think it might kill a player. We'd have to test it, though. But, so you did mention some of the weaknesses of Pompyro as well, too. Instacrafd. Some of the strengths, though, like, is it really just that beautiful, delicious wombo combo of Pyroblast into Fire Blast that when it works, it feels so good? Like, you actually, is that what does it for you as far as the strength, just the raw firepower?
I think the strength, it's I think that's the one shot, man. You just go the one there, just everything, the doors are opening, man. You just go all in. Because it's not a spec that you can wait. You just go all in and you start fighting. You don't wait. Especially when you're facing warriors. The beauty in that it's slow. I think it's the longest range spell in TBC. So I can slow you from 15 yards, which this is a lot.
50? Or is it 50?
15.
Oh, okay, 50. Well, 15 is pretty short, right? You're saying...
I have to double check if you go on the slow spec.
It says 30-yard range, which is pretty juicy. And then do you get any kind of amplified range?
Sorry, no, I think it's 30. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty hard.
So yeah, that's quite a lot. I mean, you can slow. I mean, I've been when I was playing against Rogue and Priest, I guess, and I was a really high rated, and the doors are opening, and I'm just rushing in, and the Rogue couldn't get in stealth because I was almost in the middle of the arena on Ruins of Lowood, and I got him in slow, and he was like, "What the fuck?" He came so quickly, and that's the beauty in that you never get charged. So that's why the warrior, they're so mad. You go out there, man, and you slow him, and he can't do anything. And in this case, when they're playing with druid, usually happens, you just put arcane missiles on them, and even if they go line of sight on slow, they have to drop the mount down. And once they're out of the mount, then it's getting disgusting for them.
There are certain comps that this seems so freaking good on, dude. Slow, like you said, rogue druid. Okay. Like, you throw it on the rogue, and what are they gonna do? Like, he literally actually is just slowed. Like, they can't dispel it. Warrior shaman, no defensive dispel. You throw slow on both of them on warrior shaman. That's Curse of Tongues, folks. That is literally Curse of Tongues slow. It's literally the 50%. Oh no, it's Curse of Tongues 70. Sorry, I'm
better. It's like better. It's Curse of Tongues and Curse of Rogue and all that.
Yeah. No, Curse of Tongues is 50, right? So it is 50. Yeah.
The problem with the slow is you can put it only one target.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
So you have to choose. You have to choose what you want to slow. But usually, look, man. In case, let's say, warrior druid, you can't use it on druid anyway.
Mm-hmm. So true. You put it on the shaman against warrior shaman, I bet, and just kill the warrior.
Yes.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you put it on the shaman, but the shaman, that's different. We will talk about this later on. In more depth. But the strength, it's actually, I mean, it's not a frost mage. I can't control the game. I can't buy time for my teammates. Let's say RMP with Pompyro Mage doesn't work, man. Why it's not working? And I've played this in a lot of time, even with good players. I can't do anything with Pompyro because frost mage is just pop icy veins, and he can't get a pushback on casting.
Mm-hmm.
So he can just spam frostbolts, and with Pompyro Mage you don't have nothing. So basically, if you have one rogue in you can't cast anything, and it's not a frost. You can't even survive. So you have one frost nova, and you just try to slow him and cone of cold when he vanishes. So we get him out and stuff like that. These small things makes actually the Pompyro good. If you get him, so when he opens you and stuff like that, and when you know where he will vanish, so you can do cone of cold over there or a blizzard. And the worst thing is with the slow. You slow rogue, he goes vanish man, and he removes the slow.
Gotcha.
And this is so bad. I mean, I've spent so much mana and positioning just to slow him, and then he vanishes, and that's it. And it's just difficult, but the only beauty on that is also the CC, because you still have a 4-second silence, and you have slow, and you have police and stuff. So it's very viable. The Pompyro is good if you play it with the right person, and if you have a chemistry with your partner, and this is very important. I was playing double pomp for a lot of time, and I couldn't get 2k, and I've played with a guy called Catrix, and this guy, the doors are opening, and he says, "Oh man, we go warrior." Oh, okay. And the next second, I'm seeing how he Pompyro'd the druid and stuff like that. He said, "Oh man, there was a moment, we almost missed it, And I was like, "Oh man, and this is where it goes. Like, we have really nice chemistry between us, and we just kill the whole guys, even the top dogs and stuff like that." So
we played you guys on Windrunner. It was scary as hell, man. There's always a chance you can lose the Pompyro, it feels, and like you get that -29, like you said. It's the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, I think we faced you on trees, and trees is different. I'll speak about this later on, but I mainly for tools I played double pom and Pompyro and Shokadin, which is, I think, Pompyro and Shokadin Season 1 will be Gladiator for sure.
Ooh, holy shit. Yeah, let's talk about that. I've never even faced that ever in my life before. So let's go into racials now, guys. We're going to talk about racials, how much they matter to you. Maybe they don't matter much. Maybe they do matter a lot. Anything that comes to mind. Let's start with the Horde side here, Icy. Is it playing a Blood Elf Mage completely off the table? Is playing a Troll Mage off the table? Or are there little nuances to stuff? Anything come to mind with racials?
ICU can go first.
Alright, from Horde side, I would say Undead is definitely the best race for PvP. It's not the only race you can play, of course. Troll Mage is really good with the haste it gets, and the extra damage against beasts is actually nice against druids. Most people don't realize that. When they're shapeshifted, they are considered beasts.
That counts as beast?
Yeah. When a druid is shapeshifted, they are beasts. That's why hunters can scare beasts.
True, makes sense.
So you do get bonus damage on the druid matchup, so I kind of like that one as well for rogue mage. But the main reason that Undead is mostly better is just Will of the Forsaken is like having a second trinket whenever you need to get out of a fear. And one of the mage's hardest matchups in Arena is always going to be Warlock comps that spam fear. And having just a second trinket to take a fear off while you're going aggressively for a kill and stop yourself from getting peeled is probably worth more than any of the other bonuses. And to your first question, I feel like Blood Elf Mage is memeing.
Blood Elf Mage is Blood Elf Mage, yeah. Yep.
When are they not?
Yeah, it's
real.
The Blood Elf.
Like, it has a silence, which is kind of nice in theory, but you have to be on top of the person you want to silence when you want to do it. And sure, you can play around that, but there's so many better things to have your racials in.
Yeah, it's so true. But I mean, so your only three options actually are Undead, Troll, and Blood Elf, right? So I noticed that you play Troll. Troll isn't off the table, like you said, and you played this on WR. And I
also played it on Warmane's Wrath server as well, on their progressive Frostmourne server.
Okay. So, Berserking, right? Berserking is this 10% haste, I believe, right? If you're full health.
Scaling between 10 to 30, depending on health, yes.
Yeah. Is this something that actually moves the needle a bit in an arena environment?
It gives you a lot more burst damage when you want to go for those all-ins, for example. Instead of just having Icy Veins, you have an extra level of haste on top of that, so you can get faster sheep cast off. And with a lot of haste, there's a trick you can do against priests, for example, who would always want to be trying to death the polys. If you throw a debuff on them and you know they're going to dispel it, like a Pet Nova or something, you can start the polycast with haste, right, like as or a little bit after, if you do it quick enough, as they do the dispel on the Nova, and because of your haste, you'll have your sheep go off before the global cooldown refreshes and they won't be able to death the poly.
Oh, wow.
And that gets a lot easier when you're playing Troll.
So you do feel it, even if it is a 10% haste, it's very much something you feel in practice. Yeah.
And it gives you a lot more burst damage when you're going for kills as Rogue Mage, for example. The Frostbolts would go from, for example, like 1.8 speed with a bit of haste and Icy Veins down to like 1.6-ish. So it is faster burst damage while it's up. It's giving you a DPS increase if you're trying to kill in like a 8-second or 10-second blind or something.
I see. So haste is extremely valuable for mages, right? Like I hear people talk about School of Gul'dan, right? You've heard this item chat.
Yeah,
this is a haste trinket, mind quickening gem. This is haste, right? And then Berserking, the racial, is haste. So like even in a season 1 type environment, you are getting a small amount, even if it was at 10%, but it is of an extremely valuable stat.
It's the best stat for mage, besides spell power.
Is there
for Frost, at least.
Could you use it in tandem with Icy Veins, or do you reach that point where the global cooldown is, totally capped out?
You can use it in tandem with Icy Veins. It makes the global cooldowns go down a lot, but it's not until you have like 400 plus haste that you'll be going anywhere near the global cooldown cap.
Okay. What about this regen? Is this regen a complete non-factor?
I mean, it might come into account over super long games, but I've never really noticed it. It's hard to tell health regen.
I see. And the consideration would be that if you were trying to like pump as a mage, you would be in a decently better position than an undead, considering that your racial impacts PvE as well. So
yeah. Troll is the best race for PvE mage.
So if people want to do arena and they want to go troll, are they going to be laughed off the stage, or you think it's still serviceable?
I mean, You could play it. Like, you could probably get glad as it. You could get rank 1 as it, possibly, with the good enough comp. There's things that support it, which I mentioned earlier. TBC is a lot about playing with your partners. A really good comp that most people sleep on in TBC is actually Shadow Priest Mage Resto Shaman, and the damage they deal with Bloodlust is huge. Not having Warlord Forsaken is kind of not as much of a meme if you have Tremor Totem on your team, for example, and a priest who can dispel. So it would actually give you a damage boost in that comp specifically. I think it would be better.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's move on to alliance ratios, maybe instant. Or do you have anything to say on the horde side, instant?
Oh yeah, I mean, totally different than him. I think we're on a different page. We're living different worlds. So, yeah, what I'm going to say, so on the throw spec, there is a spec on Pompyro which you go Arcane till Presence of Mind, you go Frost until Icy Veins, and then you go Fire until Pyroblast. With this spec, you can do 5s, and I'm talking here not about the Pompyro. So you throw the Pompyro, doesn't matter what is it. You have Icy Veins. In your macro, you have Icy Veins. You have, if you throw, you have your ratio. And if you have a School of Cooldown, and you start casting Arcane Blast. When you stack Arcane Blast on 3 stacks, with all this haste on 5s, this absolutely kills everything, you know. And here, even let's say you can't even get this in 5s, you can just blink Insight and start Arcane Explosion. It lowers your global cooldown. And imagine if you have 4 Pompyro Mages on this tile. With
4 Pompyro Mages, you sick bastard.
and you have these 4 Pompyro Mages with Bloodlust.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It doesn't matter what they are, man.
No, you must be haste capped at that point with Bloodlust and Skull and all that. Well, I guess you wouldn't have all of it. Yeah.
You just blink Insight and start Arcane Explosion, man. Nothing can out-heal this, you know. Nothing. I mean, imagine one Arcane Explosion will do 1.1k. 5 at the one time. It's 6k, man.
I'm actually kind of low-key excited for 5s, dude, for all the tomfoolery that's gonna occur.
Ooh, bro, I keep saying that. Me too.
Absolutely. So basically, playing this pack with throw, I think it's really good. So you go Icy Veins, you go Presence of Might and Pyroblast, and you just do one instant bomb, which will be like nothing.
You just name your character 5's God X. Yes.
Absolutely. So yeah, this is the very interesting. So I think throw, you can go throw to throw, you know, only with this pack. But I can definitely find somewhere to place it, man. I think throw is good, especially Spank. He just proved it, man. I mean, Spank, he's playing throw.
Yeah.
And
with the Resto Shaman, right? That's his thing he's been doing. So, yeah.
So you can play with Resto Shaman or you can play with Priest. I find it with Resto Shaman is better because you have the Bloodlust. So he Bloodlusts, and Spank, yeah, he's a bastard, man. You know, he's playing with Kargoz and Trinket, which when you do four spells at the same time, you cast like a lightning bolt.
Oh, that thing, the lightning capacitor thing.
Absolutely,
that's
man.
Hilarious.
So,
yeah.
I mean, he knows what he's doing. You know, he's been there, done this for years. So he's playing throw only for this reason, and it makes so much sense, man. You know, so throw, mage, for frost, yeah, it sucks. But for anything else, man, I think it's just you can be very, very creative with that.
Hell yeah. Man. Let's go alliance ratios now. Anything on the alliance side? Icy, do you ever play alliance, Icy, or is it you would never go?
I've played alliance before on private servers. I've never leveled one. It just didn't feel right to me. When I first started playing World of Warcraft as a kid, when my friend got me into it, he played on alliance. I leveled a gnome with him, and I got to about 18-ish, and I just couldn't sit with me. And as much as we were still friends, I leveled on a different server and played an undead, and I just actually kind of enjoyed the darker theme of the game.
So alliance, it's sort of not really like up for any debate, right? Like it's male Draenei or bust.
Gnome has more intellect, which is more crit, more mana, which is always good. But The gnome racial is actually really good against rogues, having a second trinket for crippling poison. So I would say gnome's probably the best alliance race for PvP. But the Draenei heal, if you're behind a pillar, it's really slept on. Like if you
No name, it's actually good.
Yeah. It's like a Resto Druid Hot for 12 seconds. I don't know about on the beta, I haven't tested it, but on the server we shall not speak of, it was doing about 450 a tick.
Alright.
So it's kind of like a Druid Hot, and if you're ever at a point of a game where you're blinking around trying to reset and you run away, and you can just get that off before you first aid, it's bonus healing, or like if you're playing with a partner or something and they're in bubble or ice block or low health, and you can heal them with it. You don't always have to cast it on yourself.
True. And you can bait those sick counter spells with your Gift of the Naru bait, because it's on its own tree. Yeah.
I did make some people mauled on the server playing double male Draenei Palm Pyro mages. It was a blast.
Man. Making Instacrafd proud.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to add on the alliance side. If you play Shokadin, you have to be human anyway. With it's good because this stealth detection, it's actually so good. You're on a mount, and if there is a druid warrior, for example, you can see the druid down there on a cut, and you can just one-shot him. So basically, human, it's viable, but I think for Frost it's even better because it gives you spirit. And if you're playing with priest, I think it's good. And if you're playing Discipline Priest and Frost Mage, I think it's good to play human. Gnome, this is the best for Pyro, because you have the Escape Artist. So even when the things get very nasty, you can use Escape Artist, and you have more crit, because Gnome have more intellect. So the intellect on the mages gives you critical. So this is actually quite good.
It's funny you found something to like about humans too. One thing that also on the beta, guys, if you've been watching some of these beta streams, perception seems stronger than on these servers that shall not be named, as Icy said. Like it seems very, I don't know, overtuned, or maybe it was always that strong. Like Brand sapped the warrior yesterday. He berserker rage perception and saw the rogue and just like got on him immediately. Like I wonder if you're on an unironic human male mage walking into the arena, you pop perception and see the rogue. Like I don't know at this point. Like, maybe, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I have a macro. I'm not playing human just to check it out, and I have a macro. And when I'm dueling, I just spam my slow man because slow have a lot of range. Sometimes I see the rogue man, and I sap him. I slow him before he sap me. So it's crazy.
You can play this guy right here, this exact character model, and just go for the absolute full-on final form memer build. Yeah. Alright. Okay. Well, we talked about racials. Let's see what we got next. 1 second. Okay. So we talked about strengths and weakness. We talked about racials. We kind of talked about mage specs already and like strengths and weaknesses, why we like them. Let's get into comps now. Comps are really, really fun to talk about. Twos, Icy. Season 1, 2v2, Frost. Best comps. What's your favorite comp? Let's go.
In season 1?
Yeah, let's go season 1.
Twos?
Yep.
Oh, 1 second, sorry. Sorry, I had something caught in my throat.
Was it a Palm Pyro?
Hurt a little.
Warlock.
I'd have to say Rogue Mage is probably the best comp for season 1. Just because of how weak everyone is without resilience. Rogues are really strong in that season. As people are gearing up, and as a mage you can kind of ride on that hype train, so to speak, and get some free raiding, killing druids before they have any resilience or gear.
So you're going, so Rogue Mage, and do you think, people say double DPS is going to be so heavy in season 1. Do you think DPM will have its place? I mean, so far, for whatever it's worth,
this
pretty
Priest
freaking
Mage
strong.
is going to be really strong as well.
Yeah.
It's just, if you queue into a good Lock Druid, a Hunter Druid, it's really, really hard and makes you hate the game, but it is still a really strong call.
Okay.
It gets very close to Rogue Mage, and then later seasons, just Priest Mage is better in my opinion. but it's just specifically like how strong rogues are with their damage in season 1 comparative to how low everyone's health bar is and how low resilience they have. It's just such a strong option with the control they bring as well.
You know, it's so funny. I was thinking, like, so RMP, people think the classes that comprise RMP, like Rogue, Mage, Priest, like all three of those classes are just like the S tier classes in TBC, and they're so incredibly strong. And there's a lot of truth in that. I'm just looking at all the classes though, right? And in 2s, actually, Mage doesn't have that many different classes they can play with. They can play with a Rogue, like you said. They can play with a Priest, like you said. Warrior, non-starter. Hunter, non-starter. Druid, non-starter. Shaman, I guess. I've seen it before.
Druid, non-starter.
Druid, Mage, bro. Stop memeing. For real? Hold on, go on.
You think I'm memeing? It's not
Druid?
super strong in the early seasons. Feral Mage will work in season 1, but it's kind of a bit of a welfare Rogue Mage. Like everything the Feral Druid's trying to do, a Rogue could do better. But in the later seasons, season 3 and 4, if you have a really good Druid player who's offensively capable and would play DS and maybe even gear a bit hybrid, have some damage, it is viable. Like the Mage would carry like they normally do in Arena versus all of the Shaman, Paladin, and Priest comps because they can dispel. The only thing that's really hard is the Druid comps, but that's the same concept as Priest Mage and Rogue Mage. You have to play off your partner's control on that a lot as a Mage. If you have a good enough Druid that he can CC the enemy Druid, you could kill his partner. You can kill the enemy Druid. If you get a Bear Stun out of a clone into like a Starfall stun proc, or not Starfall, Starfire, I believe. NS Wrath is huge for damage, and you can do a combo where you get a Cyclone set up on a kill target. You time a I think it's Starfire, as the Mage does a Shatter combo to hit out of the Cyclone when it ends, and then you can NS clone off of that while they're low health to prevent them from being healed while you set up CC on their partner. Like go for a clone on the
How come we
partner.
never see that shit though, bro? You never see Druid Mage, bro. Every time I think I saw like a couple times and we just rolled him over.
Because no one remembers how to play it anymore. It's really hard and it requires an actual really, really good Druid. Back on old Arena Tournament, before it became Warmane, there was a Mage who went by the name Excellion, and he went 100-0 on that server back when it was extremely populated, playing DS Druid Mage. And his 3's comp was double DS Druid Mage.
What? That's actually an awesome story. What is DS? Hold on. What is DS? You said DS?
Dream State. It's
okay.
hybrid spec. You go into Boomkin for the Moonkin form,
I always think of a Resto.
Mana Regen, and you go into Resto for NS.
I see. Interesting, bro. Wow, I was not thinking of that. So Druid Mage can work. That's actually pretty insane.
And Shaman Mage isn't that much of a meme as well. It's not a top tier comp, but you can beat a lot of things with it. Bloodlust on a water elemental is a lot of damage. The extra spell damage totem Shamans give are huge. The Bloodlust is of course huge for extra haste. Shaman has shocks and purges for offensive damage on the kill target if they're not being sat on and like everything's controlled. One target's in a poly, another one's rooted, being the hit as a kill target. Shaman could be casting Wrath or Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt. It's kind of viable. It's not a top tier meta comp by any means, but if you're just trying to play some games with your friends, you could hit 2K as that, I imagine.
Yeah.
If you're good enough at it.
I mean, like what Instacrafd was saying, I was watching Spank the other day. I think he was playing some kind of Pompyro variant with the Shaman, and he was going up against people like Desp and all, like that tier of players on the private servers, and winning games, man. Like it looked like he had a highly positive win rate. It just kind of shows that it can be done as long as you're playing on that same like general echelon. Like you could probably be successful if you just played enough. So
I won't say I had a highly positive win rate. It was probably terrible overall, but I played some Resto Shaman Pompyro Mage with Lead Star when we were memeing around for fun, and we got some games off Azzy. Azzy and Desp, and I think we got one off Spank.
Oh shit!
Just
nice.
one, but it worked.
Okay. So basically, Mage you can play with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, one of the also really slept on comps is Destrolock Mage, because most people think of Destrolock as a meme in PvP and TBC because it doesn't have Soul Link. but if you're good enough at it, it is really strong offensively. With the CC from the spammable fears, the spammable polys, you can CC someone with like poly into poly into poly into fear into fear. There's Death
Yep.
Coil, Shadow Fury to get fears on druids.
The fact that Poly and Fear are on different DRs completely, like there's a few times where we went our little Demo Frost
Yep, that was
shenanigans,
fun.
right? And like there was a few moments there when we were playing that, and I'm like, yo, Fear and Sheep are nasty together. Like it felt really
Actually, I always wondered why that's not a comp.
yeah.
Roaches, man.
It gets but it gets abused by a lot of the top tier comps because it doesn't have a healer. Like if you queue into Resto, Druid, Warlock, and they just dot you and run around a pillar, you're just gonna die helplessly over time. So a lot of the comps like that are really fun and you could get raiding with have a lot of matchups that can straight abuse them. Like if you queue into a good Rogue Druid or a good Priest Rogue, they can do basically the same thing. Rogue could stab someone, open on the other one. Priest gets DOS up, the Rogue gets bleeds up, and as soon as you're able to play the game, they can just run around a pillar and play for re-stealth.
Okay, I will ask you $1 million question, Icy. Gun to your head. What 2v2 comp has the highest absolute potential, highest possibility to climb, hit rank 1? I guess it's going to depend on season, but just the highest potential to climb. Like, so if you were to ask me that as a Lock player, I would go, it's not Rogue Lock. You could do pretty well on Rogue Lock, but in my mind, it's probably DPL or LD, right? And I'd probably give the edge to fucking DPL, maybe, dude, with the Orc Troll, but that's just my own bias, thinking about absolute rank 1 push potential. What is it in your mind for Mage?
Priest Mage, 100%, but you have to be willing to get sweaty. Like, if you queue into a Warlock Druid or a good Warrior Druid, it's not just going to roll over a die, or a good Rogue Druid. Be prepared to sit through some games that are going to last 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes more. I think the longest game I've ever been in my life was an hour and 48 minutes against a Rogue Druid.
That's Mage. How do
you gotta get really sweaty if you want to win those and go for it.
I see. Interesting. So, like Brand and I, how we're like partners, we're practicing every day. Like some people might be watching right now, they plan on playing a Mage. Yeah, it'd be a good advice, I think, to go find a Priest then, because you have that potential to climb and be really successful together in the long run, and at least know that potential to push it to the highest levels is there for you, if you can find a good Priest.
In my opinion, if the PvE gear is there in Season 3 and 4, specifically Season 4, if you can get Skull of Gul'dan from Black Temple and you PvE and you can get your guild to get you the Sunwell Plateau haste gear, I believe Disc Mage is the strongest comp in the game in that season when geared properly. Like haste breaks Mage with the gear you can get.
Interesting.
Like the Season 4 PvP gear is actually not the strongest gear set you can use as a Mage. If you get enough Sunwell Plateau gear and you basically use 2-set Brutal and gem the Sunwell Plateau gear resilience in the yellows instead of going haste in the yellows, you can get probably like 100 more haste, same amount of resilience, 300 to 350, and you can be getting over 1200 spell damage.
Holy shit.
Where the Brutal gear would put you at like 1100.
I think I heard this in our last Mage deep dive thing we did with Jigsaw and Riddle. He was saying that mages actually require a lot of PvE gear, or like are more PvE reliant, but also rogues do, right? So rogues and mages are similar. They're kind of like each other's equivalent. Like rogues don't have much resil, folks. Like they skimp out on resil, and I remember when we were pushing just recently on WR, like Brand, I don't know, had like 150 resil or something. Like he was trying to be as aggressive as possible with his itemization. It's because they have so many cooldowns, defensives that they can use. So you put a rogue and a mage together with all that sick PvE gear. Let's talk about glaives. Let's talk about Skull of Gul'dan. Are you talking like? Do you think Rogue Mage could be, rank 1, literally rank 1 double DPS meme, like at the top of the ladder at the end of the game?
With that gear, yes. Like the damage Rogue can do, they get damage buff from Sunwell Plateau gear. They get insane weapons. The 4-piece tier 6 for the extra 6% damage is huge as well. If you want to go low enough resil, and with enough armor pen, they just fucking shred. Like, it is absolutely disgusting the amount of damage you will see a rogue do in PvE gear and PvP. it makes RMP like by far one of the offensive strongest comps, and it's going to be near impossible to survive against a good RMP if they can get that kind of gear.
I see.
You will use your defensive properly, and they will just mow you down.
Gotcha. What about you, Instant? What are you rolling for? What are you going for too? Is come the real thing, and what do you see the strongest partners for Fire and Pompyro on that side of things for season 1? Let's start there, maybe.
Yeah. Look, Kargoz, Creeks, guys. This game is like 15 years old game, and we're spending time talking about Rogue Mage. Come on, man. Let's break the meta. Let's be creative. Let's do something different, man. Let's just create something big, man. So people, I think if you play Rogue Mage, man, and this is the scenario on the streamers, man, you play Druid and Warrior, man, for 15 years. And people, they just get bored, they want something new, they want these Destro Warwalks, man, they want these Pompyro Mages, they want these Elemental Shamans, and we don't have, we play the same stuff, and that's why I wanted to break something, I decided, no, fuck Frost, man, just go something different, I will probably, if you're a player who is playing Deep Fire, and he's 17 or 16,000 rating, I have more respect than if you're 2K first.
I feel you. I mean, there's some truth in what he's saying, dude. He's kind of just spitting how he feels. Like, I mean, I was talking about this the other day. Like, I could go LD like the other locks, right, and find a really good druid, and then but then at the same time, I'd just be like a scuffed Gucci Tazar, and just as opposed to maybe going lock rogue with Brand and trying to do something a little different.
Actually, I'm really pleased that you are not doing Lock Druid, man, because Lock Druid, man, yeah, you will be top dog, man. With Lock Druid, you play like 2, 3, 500 games, man, and you get it. But Lock Rogue, man, it's so much more interesting. Here is the CC. The games are quicker, man. You don't want to play games for 50 minutes, man. Frost Mage, Discipline Priest, man, playing against Warrior Druid. They're waiting all game. They're running around for that fear, man. And what they do, they're trying to kill the warrior. And if they kill it, if they not, they wait another fear, man. And this takes ages, man, like 50 minutes. I'm going inside, man, for 20 seconds, everything is gone, man. I lose or I win. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't spend time, man. And you probably, if you're Lock Druid, you play 3 hours and you do 20 games. Or for 3 hours, I'll probably do 200. It's crazy, man.
With Pompyro, I imagine it's literally just lickety split. You just you press the button. Yeah. If target is dead, proceed to go. If target is alive, right click, leave arena.
Playing Lock Druid, you kill the Druid, man, and then you lose 2 versus 1. I mean, we lost from you so many times, and you play Lock, and once you kill the partner on the Lock, man, then you need to kill another 2 guys, the fucking pet and the Lock. And you can't kill the pet because, it's just crazy. So I'll talk about the tools that I really do in retail, classic TBC. So the season 1, I think Pompyro and Shokadin, it's one of the strongest comp. Why? Now, a lot of people say, what is that? Why this one is strong? Look, man, the Paladin can cleanse poisons. He cleanses curses, Mage, he can dispel curses. So basically, man, if we play against a Lock Druid, say for example, the Shokadin doesn't have resistance, man. His damage is holy, so he can one-shot the pets. He can fear Warwalk's pets. He have fear. Paladins have fear, man.
True.
They have such an insane burst. They can heal. They can give me freedom. They give me blessing of protection. They're such a supporting class,
How come I never played a shotgun? What even is a shotgun, bro? Like they literally just holy shock bop somebody. It's like Pompyro kind of like for Paladin. They just they're...
Yeah, Shokadin. It's you have a caster gear, and you're basically a caster with crit, and you're playing. Yeah, you're playing until you get the Holy Shock, and then you play with the Aura, which gives you damage on the Retri Aura. So you're basically half Holy and half Retri. But you're playing with Shield, because you don't use 2 hands. So there is no 2 hands with spell.
Interesting.
So, and this is what the Pompyro needs, man. The Pompyro just need one bubble, man, and just let him free casting, and it's just getting wild. And I think this will be even better with the deep fire. If you're deep fire mage, man, you have control. And I think if you put some talents on your fireball, so you make it quicker, when you do a fire breath, you have 1.5 seconds, then you can cast a whole fireball. And this fireball will hurt, man, with ignite and then fire blast and blast wave, man. Just imagine, the damage is insane. But I think season 1 is where you don't have stats. You know, everyone is on like 7k HP, 8k, and then Pompyro hits like 5. So imagine with the Shockedin, man. And the good stuff in this is if you play double pom, man, yes, you can lose after the pom. If you play double pom and you Pompyro and kill one target, then you can lose 2 versus 1, man. And this is possible, especially against Locke and against Resto Druids. You can lose that, but with Shockedin you never lose, man. With Shockedin he'll kill you, he'll give you freedom, you can run away.
Shockedin Pompyro, like people say that all the time that TBC 2s is like very scripted. I kind of understand it, but what they mean now, like once you have just done so many reps that you kind of just have your strat and you know what they're gonna do, like, you know, you just fight a Pompyro Shockedin, like your mind's still like you probably have no idea what to do against that. You know, like you're just like, all right, fuck
absolutely.
It, just,
but that's the thing. That's the thing, because no one is playing something interesting, and when I'm going with stuff like that, and I'm actually killing people, you know, and absolutely, you know, wrecking their rating, and they get mad. But they get mad because they never tried something new. I think you have to try something new, man.
Are you gonna go that for season 1? Are you gonna give it a shot?
Absolutely, I'm going with my Canadian boy MC Taggart. He's such a nice guy, man. He's the best Shockedin in the world, man. You know, I get poison from Rogue, it's instantly cleansed, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just imagine how much easier it will be if I play Shockedin against Locke and Rogue.
It's interesting. Yeah, I like what you said about the holy damage. I don't know if you caught that, chat. You know, holy damage doesn't really like interact with resistances. There's no holy resist, right?
Absolutely.
So it'll just like pierce right through all of that, which is pretty interesting, you know, if you're in the log pet and all that. Also, Icy, you mentioned we should do a deep dive with Farkface. You just reminded me, Instacrafd sounds just like Farkface, bro. That's crazy to me. I swear they might be from the same country or something. That's crazy.
So yeah, and then we go to tools. I will say you can go double pom or Pompyro Shockedin. You can go Pompyro and BM Hunter.
Ooh.
This one, this shit is crazy, man.
Yeah, that
Look
sounds kind of crazy. Season 1.
The Beastmaster Hunters, they're immune to stuns. So the only person they will stun is the Pompyro Mage. But can you stun a Pompyro Mage, man? He just do Pompyro, Fire Blast, and Ice Block, and then the Hunter, it will just absolutely kill them. The interesting thing is it's the aim shot here. We have aim shot, 50% reduce on human.
If you can get it off, yeah, it's tough to get that off on a Hunter, but yeah.
Yeah, imagine you have Pompyro with million dots also.
Yeah.
You know, so and the thing is, he just do aim shot. You go Pompyro and focus silence on the healer, man, and the Hunter is just doing the job.
That seems really strong. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and maybe you wouldn't press your Pompyro until after he gets that aim shot. You know, you could set it up that way where you don't just immediately go red. You're like, all right, let's try to work our way into getting an aim shot to connect, and then we press our buttons. Like that might be
Yeah, and this is also a very strong one. I've played. There was a guy, very interesting guy. You know, I think it's called Red Panda or something like that. They are playing Warlock and Warrior. The Warrior is playing with Last Stand, and the Warrior is just the dummy, man. He goes in, he charge you, and he just tank as much as he can. By the other time, the Warlock is just doting everyone, man. And when you think, oh yeah, we got the Warrior, he just pop Last Stand, man, and you're like, what? Another 6k? How am I gonna get this off, you know? And then you die. And this is actually so interesting, you know. And these guys, they were rank 2 or 3 on season 1 in a private server, man. They were top dogs, Warlock and Warrior.
I see.
But they were so creative, these guys also. So on those, you can actually go Pompyro, Pharaoh Druid. It's so strong, man, because the Pharaoh Druid have a million CC, man. and he can do roots, he can also heal, he can innervate, he can do a lot of stuff. And also it's good comp, but I've never actually played with a good Pharaoh Druid, so I can't actually.
You kind of forget how many actual types of comps you could run. Like, yeah, I never even thought of these things together, you know? Like, I kind of thought that the comps were so... It was only like a handful of them, you know, people are playing in the super meta, but...
Absolutely.
Interesting.
But think about it, man. You can play Rogue and Pharaoh Druid. Why not Pompire and Pharaoh Druid?
Yeah. More burst. I mean, the Pharaohs do an obscene amount of burst. I think that's like one of their strong suits versus Rogue. On the opener, like, I don't know, something about Pharaohs, they just do so much damage.
Yeah, and then you can see that here we're so different with Icy. He's talking about stuff that he's trained for years, and I'm just being creative, man. And on tools, you know, I think you can play a lot of stuff with Pompyro Mage. Yeah, you can play Pompyro Rogue. You know, this is I'm just playing that now, and I'm checking it, and it's actually good. You know, it's working. But I'm not actually good playing with Rogue. On trees, on other hand, man, on trees here, where you can go Gladiator with Pompyro Mage on trees is very strong. I don't know if you watched the Endless Tournament, but they played there was a Pompyro Mage, Destru Lock, and Restu Shaman. And these guys, actually, they went quite high. Just imagine Curse of Elements, 5 stack on Scorch. What will happen with the target?
What was the comp in the tournament? I did watch both of them, of the Endless Tournaments.
So it's the Destruction Walk, Pompyro Mage, and Restu Shaman.
Oh shit, they played that in the tournament? That's crazy.
Yes, they played on tournament, and I was so glad that someone is actually playing that, because they were so underdogs, man. And they went in and they start winning, man. And everyone was like, how they can win that, you know? And here it's getting, when you have a Roges, man, and they go on the lock. When you're playing on Destruction, you have some kind of a spell which gives you instant Incinerates, right?
Flag.
Absolutely. Okay.
Backlash.
Yep. And what's happening, if the Rogue changing to start killing the lock, they actually kill themselves. So they have to leave the lock free casting. And when you leave this lock free casting, it's getting even nastier. So they don't know what to do against that, because it's just so different. And I was watching Jigsaw like 2 days ago. He just got farmed from this comp, man.
Interesting, man.
He got farmed from this comp. Another comp that I'm really playing, I play this with World Star. It's double Pompyro and Restu Shaman.
Oh yeah, you know World Star. Yeah. I saw you playing that on threes, actually. You beat us and we lost 30 points. I remember that shit, bro. Yeah, double Pompyro Shaman. Oh my god, that was cancer.
Just imagine the Bloodlust and with this pack Pompyro have 100% chance to not get interrupted when you cast Arcane Missiles. So 2 Arcane Missiles from that, you know, and imagine with Bloodlust and all the purges from the Shaman.
Yeah,
it's so and this is
cleaning up that target. You palm them down, yeah.
Absolutely. But here it's not about the palm. Yeah, you palm, man. You do damage, but the damage comes after that with all the arcane power and the trinkets on. The damage is actually not coming here with the palm. It's not like in twos. In threes, the damage comes afterward. And if they can't stop you after this, that's it.
Interesting. Icy, bro. Give it to me straight though, Icy. You think Palm could actually season 1 be strong? Like more like
yeah, season 1 Palms.
Is it as its strongest? Sorry. Go where you sorry.
At its strongest season 1, yeah. Because the target's health bars are lower, Pompyro is still disgustingly high amounts of damage instantly. They'll do like half someone's health, they have lower resil, and that into blanket counterspell, fire blast, like it'll be really easy, or not easy necessarily, but if you get good RNG, you can kill healers really quickly. It's going to be really strong and unforgiving to play against in season 1. Like if you don't vanish the Pompyro on time, if you get stunned by impact and it hits on you, if you don't ice block it, you're basically dead. Like as a mage, Frost Mage, if I queue into a Pompyro Mage, I have to be scared with every Glowbore I cast, because if I ever attempt to cast anything Frost, like a counterspell on it, I can instantly die in that 8-second lockout. The 8-second lockout before it lets me ice block. So
true. So true. So season 1, man, which is what on everybody's mind. Like, Pompyro is actually legitimately viable, man. It's
Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3, the Pompyro is very strong. Season 4 Pompyro is trash.
Okay.
I mean, I played Season 4 a lot Pompyro, man. You can't get more than 2k. It's just so difficult, man. You play only against a rogue and a discipline priest, and they just dispel you, and the rogue is just doing whatever they want. So yeah, I mean, season 4 is hard for the Pompyro. This is where you go frost here. Season 4, you put these haste gems, man, you pop Icyfresh and Elemental and you kill everyone. But the Pompyro is so strong the first 2 seasons, and I think if people open their eyes, they can go very high first season in TBC Classic.
Hell yeah. Well, let's talk about threes comps right now. Icy, back on the frost side of things, on the more just like standard route. Best threes comps that comes to mind, and what are you going to play, and anything that comes to mind on the threes fronts for you, man?
RMP. The holy trinity of the Burning Crusade.
Can you play it all seasons?
Where it all began. Yes. Start to finish. The CC is insane. You have an instant blind. It doesn't DR with the instant fear. Doesn't DR with the polymorphs. You can sap off CC. You have triple CC. If it's set up properly, you'll go in with a sap on someone. The rogue will cheap someone else. There will be fear or poly or fear into poly going out on the third target. If you have proper control on the game, you don't necessarily need to be healing, so your priest will have more time to do things offensively, like dispelling the kill target, putting dots up, even smiting if there's time. It's a really strong comp on all fronts in every season.
Mm-hmm.
It's S+ tier in my opinion.
S+ tier, gotcha. And I think most people have heard of RMP, right? Like if you have any interest whatsoever in the arena, you've heard of RMP. I'm actually kind of curious too if there are other ones that come to mind. You mentioned Shatter play. Is that
Mage, Shadow Priest, Resto Shaman?
Yeah, is that something that could A tier still kind of range, or?
Yeah, it's probably A tier. Death Sherlock, Mage, Resto Druid, if you have a good enough Death Sherlock, is really, really good too for the cross CC and damage. And like Instacrafd was saying earlier, most people will want to go on the Death Sherlock because he doesn't have Soul Link and it's a Warlock. But with proper uptime on heals from the Druid, they're basically just killing themselves because they're feeding him backlash procs at the same time as they're letting the Mage free cast while they're sitting on the Warlock. And then there's fears going out, there's sheeps going out, and then instant incinerates and shadow bolts while the mage is going for damage on the kill target is really strong.
Okay.
You can probably put Ellie Shaman Mage in threes as well, actually, with good priest. Maybe, probably not Paladin. Priest would be best for that.
I feel like that's one I've seen before. Yeah, Ellie Shaman, Frost Mage, and I forgot who the healer is. It might be Priest or something.
Priest or a really good Druid would work, I think.
Hmm.
But I would prefer the Priest because they're more offensively suited to the Mage's playstyle. And then the SLSL Warlock with a Frost Mage and a Resto Druid, and then also with a Resto Shaman or with a Disc Priest all work as well. There's a bit of a different playstyle to each one. Disc Priest with those two classes are my favorite playstyle to play on as Mage Warlock, because it's more of an offensive go in with fears and dispels and an extra dot, and you're going to be going for quick kills and forcing offensive pressure. Whereas with MLS and MLD, you're more sitting back as a mage because most things are going to kill target or have you as a kill target. You're going to be wanting to focus on surviving and keeping your mana up till the Warlock does most of the work with forcing trinkets, forcing defensives, and setting up the start of the CC. And you're playing more of a slower paced gameplay of CCing and waiting till they blow everything, like all of their cooldowns and defensives, and then you go in for kills. You have to play it more of a Warlock mindset in that comp.
Gotcha. Okay, well you mentioned a good amount of comps there for threes, so hopefully there's stuff you can chew on, guys. If you have any questions as well, throw it in the chat, man. We can field specifics. If you have anything. I know one thing you're really passionate about, and then we'll move on to 1v1 matchups / dueling. Instacrafd is like, you've run a good amount of triple Pompyro, and I think you mentioned something like Arcane Missile Triangle or something. I don't know if you wanted to have
so I was about to say about, like, did you check the email I sent you?
I got the video that I downloaded, yes.
Did you also get another email with, like, there was a drawing that I've done on Paint about this?
Let me see.
That's called a magical Arcane Missiles Triangle. and it works only on Nagrand Arena.
What the
It's-
hell is this, dude? Okay, let me see if I can get this up here.
This is something that you can do only with triple pom, and triple pom on trees is actually very strong. You know, it's there is only a few comps that we are struggle with. One of them it's rogue lock priest, and I think that's it. You know, lock warrior druid is actually quite easy for this.
I got it up here. Okay, what are we looking at? This is actually crazy. So this is the middle of the map here. This little 1, 2, 3,
right
4,
now-
5 hectagon or whatever, and
Oh man, it's crazy. Look at that. So now, this is the pillar in Nagrand Arena. This one in the middle.
the pillar
Right.
in the grand arena.
But
wait,
you look at the top. The stars are three mages. Three mages.
wait, so this is one of the 4 pillars, like in either
Yes.
you know, top
Yes,
left,
this
top
one.
right, bottom left, bottom right. Okay.
Absolutely. This is one of the 4 pillars.
Okay.
So where you can hide in Nagrand Arena?
The
Nowhere.
pillar. Yeah, the pillar.
Oh. That's the pillar, man. So basically, what's happening on triple pyro matches? You know, you have to just time it at one time and just kill one target. You know, with good focus CC, you know, silence and polymorph stuff like that. Okay, when you kill one of the targets, then the stars are basically the pyro mages. The blue lightning bolt is your enemies. So look, doesn't matter where they go, you can always attach arcane missiles to them. This is the same with the warwalk drain life, you know. It's
Mhm.
the same. Doesn't matter where they hide, man. They can't hide away. So basically, the third mage is going on where is the bottom star, and another 2 mages can hit the target. Can you see the lightning storm? You know. Then if you see the bottom lightning storm, again 2 mages can hit there. So basically, you spread around this, and nothing can hide from you. And when you get close to the target to kill him, one of them just blink out, silence, and you just kill him. So they can't hide. And this is what's happening. And a lot of time we were like doing trees. And
Doesn't one of the mages just die though if it's triple palm pyro? Like I feel like the game is over and like you wouldn't even get to a pillar. Like it's like you're fighting RMP, right? And you're just
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
and one
yeah.
mage is dead.
Yeah, you can hide and stuff, and when you have a rogue, you know, heal CC and stuff like that. But here, what's happening, man? When we kill one target, or even we don't kill no one, we can always arcane missiles one of them. Doesn't matter where they hide. And see, this is the arrows is showing that we can rotate around the pillar, so we can go everywhere we want. And we always keep 2 mages on one side, and another one is waiting from the other side. So here, the stupid druids, when they start running, man, they can't. You know, they have to face 2 of them, and they what they do is just scorch fire blast, or you know, they pop arcane missiles on them, and that's it. I mean, it's on trees is crazy. We were playing against river, and that's another thing. So when you play Pyro against a frost mage, if they cast a blizzard or a rank 1 frostbolt or whatever, if you silence them, they what's happening? They can't pop ice block. And man, we were playing against river, and he was coming in the middle of the arena, man, casting blizzard. And we were like, what the fuck is he doing? We just jump out the mount, silence him, man, and Pyro, and we one-shot him.
Oh yeah, because you lock him on frost, like what Icy said,
Yes.
right? And then you just dump everything into him. Interesting.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
and that's the thing, you know, when you underestimate the POM, you know, it's getting crazy. And I think in Classic, man, in TBC Classic, everyone will underestimate it. So shout out for all the POM Pyros out there, man, guys.
Hell yeah, man. I love the passion, dude. I've never seen somebody so passionate about Palm, dude. This is like the Palm spokesman right here. Okay.
Sorry, just last thing is, yeah, I've sent you a video, you know, and then this is the when people underestimate the POM Pyros.
Is this a
you know,
demonstration of it? Oh shit,
Yeah.
I kind of want to see this actually. Hold on,
Yeah.
boys.
This is the video. You can load it up on the hour, the minute, and the second I told you, so we
Okay.
can show to the guys what's going on.
1 hour, 9 minutes, 7 seconds. Are we about to see this in action right now? Okay, stand by. Icy, what do you think of the shenanigans, bro? Give it to me straight. Do you think it can work? It's Palm Pyro?
What do you mean? Do I think it can work?
Thinking the
course it can work.
triple triangle.
You know how scary it is queuing into fucking triple bomb pyro mage, dude? I'd be terrified. How do you keep track of 3 different mages counter spells? When do I ever cast Frost against 3 bomb pyro mages?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, so you play a class like Resto Shaman into it, or Disc Priest or something that doesn't have like an ice block or a bubble. If all 3 mages are just like in line of sight of you for 1 global, and they all just press their palm macro, and you don't have like grounding totem
Man,
down,
don't play alone, man.
you're
You go
not
the
playing the
pilot
game
alone,
anymore,
it's up.
and they just cheese you.
I don't know, man.
It happens so
so-
fast too.
So, Kargoz, if you move to the hour and the minute I told you, it should be
Yeah.
1 hour, whatever. Yeah, because this is the beginning, this is like 2 hours. And then so.
Yeah, I'm trying to freaking get it working. Hold on.
Technical difficulties.
Sorry
Happens to
about
all
this,
of us.
boys. I might have to cover your beautiful faces for a second,
That's okay.
but it's all good. it's for the greater good. Okay, so 1 minute or 1 hour, 9 minutes, 7 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 hour, 9 minutes.
Really?
Alright, it's coming up,
So
it's coming
you're
up.
someone important there.
Man, I'm the only one with
Alright, so
AP
yeah.
gear,
So
Okay, man.
here
But
we're
then we
double
go to
bomb
K, right?
against Warrior Druid.
yeah.
And you see how patient we are.
Let's win this game, man. I love you, man. As you got.
It's a Hazi? What the hell? Okay.
So here I thought about the slow. Look, we slow, he can't charge. And we're trying to find where is the druid. So that's very important.
Is he streaming,
If we
man?
find where is druid,
can
we can
charge
bomb him
now.
straight away
Careful.
because he don't have
can.
hots on him. And
Now we
here we just try to put the warrior in combat so we don't get charged. See the
Man,
slow
he's
again.
somewhere here,
He
Yeah.
just
He's
can't
here.
do much.
but he got hot.
And we just trying to find
warrior and we cast on him.
It's like double mages playing with their toy. A poor warrior, yeah. Get that.
See here I fake cast the reflect.
By the way, Warrior have
You know, we
no
opened
reflection.
here. So the warrior can't
but
get
he's
any
full
closer
hot, no?
to us.
Can
So
you
look,
go
we
now?
blink away and stuff.
No.
And here we just, I
Slow.
put my focus
Okay,
to see
you don't
what's
have-
going on with
Now
the
we
druid.
can go Warrior.
And we look.
Now we can
Go.
go Warrior.
And look now, he used reflect.
Oh
Stupid.
my god, the
Stupidly,
damage.
and this is.
Ah!
Let's go. He used reflect for
Go
nothing.
kill.
Nice.
And here we go,
But we
up,
have
the another
to-
silence,
Do now.
and that's it.
Fuck.
Damn.
What to do, man? Just
And here I think that was when they're trying to push hard, but you can't do reflect like that. I mean, this is
Okay, I'm full evocation.
you have to be
full evocation.
so
26.
afraid from us. if you're not.
26, the stuff of nightmares. You're trying to rank 2-pound pyro mages, come along and end your dreams.
Minus 26.
Oh, no, no, no.
in the stream, man.
Damn, bro.
And I mean, you can watch the whole video when you're free, but you can see like people they just do crazy stuff and they get punished for that.
Yeah. That was fun, man. Okay. All right. Well, that was sick. Let's talk about 1v1 matchups. We have 22 minutes left. We're actually doing okay on time. Let's see here. So, 1v1 matchups and duelings. Who do I can't like mages, rogues are, at least in my humble opinion, you know, probably some of the strongest duelers, probably the strongest duelers. So instead of working forward and saying which matchups do you do well against, it's almost like working backwards seems more productive. Like which matchups do you struggle against, if any, as a mage, if you're taking that 1v1 in the context of an arena, also versus just open world dueling, because it is kind of different, you know. Anything come to mind?
Guess I'll start this off with Frost then. In arena, I think Rogue probably has the advantage because if they're playing to win, they can just reset and stay in stealth waiting for cloak on end until the mage doesn't have enough cooldowns left to survive it. If you're better than them and they make a mistake, you can beat a good rogue as a mage. In open world dueling, if they're just not sitting in stealth forever and going in, it's a 50-50 skill matchup in my opinion. Like the mage can beat the rogue can beat the mage. It's not exactly a counter matchup. If you're quick enough on your reactions as a mage, you can see a lot of the things the rogues try and do. Rogue will feel like it counters a mage if you just let them like vanish Garrote you on repeat and they don't give you any time to cast. But if you can kind of get used to the flow of the matchup and you can tell when they're going to try and vanish on you, when they're going to try and like use things to get out of your Novas, and you can hit them with Cone of Cold or another Nova or Arcane Explosion, it takes a lot from them if they use their Vanish cooldown there and they don't get anything out of it, because they only have 2 of those and it's super important. And if you can kind of like interrupt what they're trying to do in their game plan, you can come out ahead. In my opinion, Mage should be able to beat every class in a 1v1 if played properly, with the exception of like maybe a Resto Druid if he's just keeping blooms up. And
I just can't believe you can even say that against Rogue. Though. You really don't think a Rogue can just milk her cooldowns out over time and just like keep resetting and stuff? I guess.
I mean, if you let them get away, but that's not as easy for a Rogue to do against a good Mage as you would expect with things like Blizzard and Pet Nova and the constant slows.
Mm-hmm.
And say, even in Arena, if I just, instead of positioning next to the pillar, just go stand in the corner in the Grand, for example, like where the eye spawns, and put my back to a wall and just back puddle up against the wall so he has to open with Cheap Shot instead of Garrote. Like, not only is he opening on me without his proper opener, he's so far away from the pillar that if he does want to reset at that point, there's a long distance he has to go to get there. And as a Mage, I can Pet Nova him if he tries to run away.
True.
I can keep him at 75%.
Because you would agree, right, that with LOS, like with a pillar nearby, the Rogue,
yes,
you would just like milk out all your cooldowns and just keep resetting.
Yep, he would just open and pillar, and you wouldn't get to touch him. You need to pick your positioning carefully so that you can optimize your play against the opponents. Like, if you just chase him around the pillar when he's at full health and let your resources run out, you'll lose. But if you can kind of force him in the open and play your advantage while you have it, so he has to try and escape at low health next to the pillar, and you can, say, send your Water Elemental around the right side of the pillar, you can run around the left, you can hit him with a Pet Nova, you can Blizzard him, you can blink around in Cone of Cold and Fire Blast, you can get Arcane Missiles off occasionally, and you'll be able to keep pressure on him, hopefully enough to stop him from re-stealthing. And maybe finish it.
Okay. What about Druids?
I think a good Druid next to a pillar is probably unkillable, obviously, because he can just like shift out of all the Novas. You can't sheep him. He can just spam instants and run around. Like, he doesn't have to cast anything to get locked for 8 seconds, and he can just Moonfire, Insect Swarm, keep blooms up, and keep running around. You won't be able to fight with him at all. It's mostly on baiting the Druid into making a mistake. Like, something I'll do if I'm ever stuck in a 1v1 against Druids, I'll just like run at them and I'll start autoing them and swinging them with my sword. Like, actually.
Yeah.
Because they'll just think I'm memeing and joking on them, and I'll just start doing it too, and eventually over time, like, they'll stop trying and keeping blooms up occasionally if they're bad, and you can drop their health a bit to the point that they'll try and cast something and they'll let their guard down, and you can lock them and maybe get a shatter in with a good Pet
Holy
Nova
shit,
in
that's
haste.
actually 5-head. Yeah, because like if you just run around trying to kill them on the pillar, you actually will not be able to kill
you'll
them.
never get anything done. Like, it's what they want you to do. If you just stand there and you stop trying, there's a chance that they might let their guard down, thinking, oh, there's no way I died to a Frost Mage. He even sees it here. He's not fighting back. I win this for free. And if they let their guard down long enough, that's not actually true. And yeah, or you could be a Warlock. A Warlock next to a pillar is really hard for a Mage. Mage 1v1ing a Warlock, you have to try and stay on top of him at all times to be able to use your instants, Fire Blast, Cone of Cold. Like, in the open without a pillar, I would say Mage can counter Warlock in 1v1s if you do enough damage into them and you're on equal gear. But in Arena, if he ever gets distance from you that he can just have dots on you and he's around the corner, you're done. It's probably GG. And like, especially in an Arena sense, if you're against like Warlock Druid as Rogue Mage and you get a cross kill, Druid for Rogue, for example, at that point you're not going to have full cooldowns, you won't have full health and mana. Like, in an Arena setting like that, it's very minimal chance that you'll 1v1 the Warlock as a Mage, because you have used most of your cooldowns to finish the partner.
It was a bit of a bruise to my ego, as a big Chad SL Warlock. You're out there thinking that you only like, you're the big man on campus dueling and all this, but actually fighting a good Mage just out in the open is actually brutal, man. Like, exactly what you said. If they get right on top of you, cleave your pet down and stuff, you're trying to keep your pet away from you, just spamming instants in you, they can normally outvalue you. Like, the best strat I've had versus Mages, and you helped me with this, right? I see, it's just to dot up the pet, keep siphon on them and just run. Like, you literally just max range try to run them and really try to lock them on that first little rank 1 frostbolt they fling at you.
And try and keep Curse of Tongues spammed up on them as much as possible so they can't cast.
Yep.
Yeah. I think the Pomparo Mage is a little bit different. Let's say in scenario I'm playing 1 versus 1 against Locke. I can win the Locks, SLSL, in duels, but in arena I can't, because if I use my bomb to kill him, then he just silenced me after that, and I'm dead. You know, I used my powerful spell for nothing. And what they do, I use my bomb, and I'll just do another tips and tricks, you know, with the Pomparo. So basically, when you have to do the pomp, this is very important as a Pomparo Mage. You just don't go there and press one button. It's not that simple. What you have to have is clear casting, and clear casting is very important. So on the Arcane tree, when you go there, it says that when you have clear casting, you have 30% more crit. And now I'm just on my character, and I'm looking, I have 30% crit without clear casting, which means with clear casting I'll have 60. So this is the moment where you do your pomp. So you can't just throw pomp like that. And on duos I win locks, but when we go to arena and I do the same on duo and the arena, it doesn't work. The rogues is the same. When you can pomp the rogue. So rogue, he can vanish at any time. He can do Cloak of Shadows. He can do. So when is the best time to pomp the rogue? When he is stunned. How you can stun him? When he stuns himself. When you have a molten armor on you with impact. And when he is in impact, you know, you can pomp pyro him. And that's the thing. I was playing against Mir, and Mir is actually insane. He trinketed my impact, 0.5 stun. He trinketed that stun, man, and vanished my pomp. And I was like,
oh, you can, oh man, GG.
And I'm like, what the heck? No, none of the rogues done this, man. And like this guy, he comes and do it, and I'm like, oh, okay, hands down, you know, okay, you're good. And but a lot of rogues they don't. And now I'm playing with rogue a little bit more, and it's even easier, man. We go against rogue druid, and my rogue just stunned him. Whatever, he used trinkets, and that's it. My rogue vanishes, and then next time when he open him, I can pomp pyro and free casting on him with focus silence on druid, and the rogue is dead. And it's actually easy. So here on pomp pyro side, the tips I can give you: never throw your pomp just because you feel like you have to pomp. You know, you have to wait the perfect moment for that. Or against locks, you know, the door is opening the arena, you have to spell steal the fucking buff, you know, that they have from Voidwalker. If you pomp pyro into this, that's it. It's already over. And another thing, it's about the pomp pyro, which is Frost. They're just so OP that they don't need to be that much worried. But for pomp pyro, you need to have at least 70 spell penetration. That's the minimum. Why Kargoz I need 70? Do you know why?
My understanding is a couple reasons. One for the Fell Hunter resistance bonus, as well as the Shadow Priest. Well, for Warlock it might be different for Mage, right? But there's a Shadow resistance buff that Priests give as well. It also accounts for the undead Shadow resistance that they have.
Exactly, man. For the fucking Batman. I can't kill this Batman. And here, look, you play Frostman, you have an ice barrier, you can run away, you can slow, you can do stuff. You know, you can summon pet, he can help you. Man, with pomp pyro, you don't have time. You have to kill the pet as soon as possible. And that's the thing. What's the worst comp we play? Log Druid. And here, you have to have 90 spell penetration, man, just to kill the pet as quick as possible. When you're playing double pomp, yeah, it's possible, you know, and Shocking, it's possible. But I'm playing now with Rogue, man, and I'm like, I'm feeling like I'm healing the pet. I just fake the silence with Scorch and stuff like that, and I still can't kill the pet, man. And this is the worst, man. You somehow kill the pet, he summon you one. And then you're like, you wasted so much mana, resources and stuff like that, and even your rogue helped you to kill the pet, and then you can't do much, you know. And 1v1 it's totally different, and duos it's in the arena, and duos it's totally different. But yeah, the Pomp Pyro it's very strong, and I think you said about the Resto Druid. I think the Pomp Pyro Mage it's way more stronger than Frost Mage in 1v1, because you can pull the if the Druid wants to fight you, especially I'm talking about the Nagrand Arena, he have to come in the middle, man, because you are hiding on view. The moment he's out, you just have to see if you have clear casting. This is very important. If you don't have clear casting, you wait. But when you have clear casting, you catch him without HOTS, and this is very important, and it's really good. When you come around 10%, they get cocky, man, and they stop healing themselves. And this is where you can just burst them, you know. With clear casting, you just
Oh, when you're at 10% health, when they're trying to kill you and you're almost dead. Yeah. Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they get cocky and they said, "Oh, why I have to heal myself?" And you just one shot him there, man. And they're like,
casting. Oh. So you're saying clear casting not for the mana reduction, for the extra crit that you get. That's got to be a new TBC thing. Yeah. So because you need your Pomp Pyro to crit, is my understanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I mean, it's not. You need the crit. Why you need the crit? You need the crit for the ignite. Ignite gives you the another dot. So basically, you have to Pomp Pyro in clear casting, and then if you get another clear casting, this is like the dream. Then you get Fire Blast with clear casting, which is crit also, which applies another ignite, and then you have silence, and you can do arcane missiles. Because in this situation, they start running away, but you can't run away from arcane missiles, man.
Yeah, true.
And that's it.
True. All right. So, okay, what did we take from this? That Icy thinks mages do well against rogues, and that you can actually outplay them as long as you just prevent them from, getting that re, and ideally you choose your fights and you don't fight them by a pillar. If you ask a rogue player, they're probably going to say the opposite, right? They're going to be like, "Oh, Dust Mage is off all day." Like, it's that legendary battle, even in Classic WoW. And then Warlock, Druid, we talked about a bit. Just trying to think if there's anything else useful to talk about on the 1v1.
How do you feel about Mage, Disc fighting each other, duking it out? Because I'm not the best person in the world. Mage would, okay.
Mage would win? I actually remember on TR watching Priest win, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not that good, and I'm keeping up with Mage.
Aspect to it though, because Priest has a I believe 15% talent in discipline to resist silences and stuns, and the Mage's counterspell was really, really important in that matchup. And if you would go for a counterspell lockout when the Priest is low and it resists, you'll probably lose that game. Still get to heal themselves back up. You won't have much offensive pressure for another 24 seconds, and you'll be like wasting all of your mana.
The Priest has to be real fast with the dispels too, or they're fucked.
Yeah.
This is how it was looking from my perspective, right? I think I was watching Jigsaw fight some Disc Priests, and he was winning some, but like there was this one that he kept losing to, and
they
pretty much,
too.
Eventually the Priest was getting pounded, relentless. There's so much pressure, right? But then eventually he got the heal, and he cast like 3 Flash of Light, and he was full health, and then the Mage just, like that's how it looked, yeah.
You basically try and start getting a poly dispel their buffs if they have any, because it makes it easier for you if you can just steal their shields off while they're trying to upkeep and prayer mending. And you'll just pump frostbolts into them with Welly out, and you'll just try and parse as hard as you can to burst their health low enough that they have to cast a heal on a low enough health that you can finish if you get a lockout. And if you don't miss your interrupt, and they're at like under 40% and they're stopped from being able to heal for like 8 seconds, you can kill them there. But you need to really get good at using your counterspell and not use it too early, and you also have to not miss it. And then, of course, as I said earlier, if it resists, then you're just screwed.
I see. Yeah, it's a great question, Grix, man. It's a really good one about the Disc Mage matchup for sure.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing you can do is just kite them until you get your cooldown back. And
in Arena, you can do that, yeah.
Yeah, in Arena you can do that. Just make sure you stack a little bit more food, because this happens to me, man. I was playing 2s and I've done only 10 food.
Dude, I make 40 every time. That's your mistake.
Yeah, man, I'm playing against Discipline Priest, and we are like, I'm just pumping hard. I go back, reset, and at some point I run out of mana, and I'm going to drink, and I say, shit, I don't have and then man, he won because of that. So yeah,
Cool.
just make sure you stack a little bit more food when you're getting in, you know, especially in a high rated arena. But yeah, you can kite him, and what I do, I just kite him endlessly until I get pom. It's 3 minutes. I have to kite him for 3 minutes, and that's it.
On that note, though, I know it seems very simple and basic, chat, but Mage food is fucking OP, dude. Mage food, I swear, it wins you every. I would imagine every play session that you do your queuing games, right? Like there are a couple games that are won by Mage food. Like, at least that's how it feels from us as like a roguelike queuing into Mage rogue. Like there will be a few games where they'll just be able to sit down and start eating and get back up to full, and it feels so OP, man. I don't know.
I drink every fight as a priest, so yeah, you just CC him out and I can drink full.
Yeah.
Can I just point out that that's like one of the most underappreciated parts that people don't realize how important it is in Rogue Mage? Just say you go all in, you do everything, your opponent goes all in, and you go for a cross kill. Like the Mage dies, one of the opponents dies. A Rogue with food is probably the strongest 1v1 class in the game.
Yeah, it's
I
so
agree.
true,
I
bro.
agree.
So true.
It's like, it's a one thing just like 1v1ing a rogue in arena if he was playing with like a warlock or a priest or something and his partner dies. But if he has food, it's pretty much helpless on my end because he can reset to full health as much as he wants if he runs away.
So true, Icy. And you reminded me, that is where we feel it. It's when Bran is up against one more rogue, right? And we're like, you know, the rogue mage matchup versus roguelike is like they're trying to kill the lock, and then you kind of like cross kill the mage at the same time, and then it's two rogues, right? And usually the warlock is hoping to get a couple dots on him post cloak, right? And then you can clean it up. But it comes down to rogue v rogue all the time, and the fact that that enemy rogue has food is busted. It just feels so bad. Yeah, you hit the that's where you hit the nail on the
trinket, blinded, sapped, eat.
Yep.
Absolutely, man. I agree with you.
So true, bro. Okay, let's move into some other stuff too. So macros and add-ons. This is really some meat and potatoes too. Now, if just assume people have never played, you know, TBC PvP. Actually, maybe we don't have to make that assumption. People are pretty sweaty. What super useful macros come to mind as a mage that you wish you had at the beginning of the learning process for mage, if that makes sense?
Water elemental macro that has Pet Nova in the same keybind. It's really nice. I'll throw it on the Discord chat so you can post it to the thing if you want to. But it's one button. The first use of the keybind you bind it on summons the water elemental. Second time you hit that same keybind, if Pet Nova is off cooldown, it will try to use the Nova
that
ability.
is really juicy, yeah. That is super juicy, man.
Then I guess it's kind of basic, but if we're talking about things I wish I would have known when I first started playing the game, focus counterspell and focus polymorph macros, like focus in general, being able to deal with more than one target at a time. Be targeting a kill target and have someone you want to CC and have a focus frame of them so you can see if they're casting, and having like stop casting in your counterspell macro so that if you're casting a frostbolt, for example, or something, or a polymorph, and some spell comes out that you want to interrupt really quickly, like you see a druid trying to cast a cyclone and you want to snipe and interrupt on it for an 8-second lockout, it would automatically stop your cast with the stop casting in the focus counterspell macro, and it would just counterspell.
You know, I was thinking last night, bro. I was in bed, just thinking about WoW. And one thing that is probably useful for all classes, I wish I could do this. I might still do this. Maybe I'm not going to give up on myself. Is making interrupt, like we said, poly, kick, whatever CS or spell lock, whatever you have. Don't even put them on a modifier macro. Don't even put them on like for me it's Q is lock, right? And then control Q is focus lock. Like even get rid of the Q. Like take some of the most high impact binds and use them for focus. Like focus are on the juiciest binds. Like so you're not like how one's in the chat if you use a Naga, right? Just imagine if you put like 1, 2, and 3 as you just dedicated a full row just to your counter spell or something, right? Or your spell lock, and like I don't know, man. I feel like that takes you so far in arena if you can get the comfiest, freaking juiciest focus kick. Focus. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd have nothing to add. I see he got it. All the focus macros. I will add. I done it easier for me. So my focus macro is a scroll up, and actually so good for me. Scrolling up, it's probably the quickest thing that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, I'm playing with a lot of mages, and mages which are not very experienced. And the biggest mistake that I've seen, they don't have a macro for food and water at the same time, so they click them one to each other, and they're like 1 second behind from their food. And a lot of people I've played with, they have this mistake, and I'm saying, oh man, why you don't put them on macro? And they were like, oh yeah man, that's good. And simple things like that people forget. Another thing is you have to have 2 macros for dispelling, man. If you can decurse your partner, this is very important as mage, and especially on trees, man. You have to have a party 1 member and party 2 member, and because here we talk about curse of Dognus, about curse of agony, and this stuff. If you don't have a focus macros for that, for your teammates, this is crucial, especially on the high-rated arenas going 2.2k. You have to have these macros for decursing yourself and decursing your teammates.
Yep, it's so true. And I think the natural human instinct is like you already learn how to play your character and you put all the juiciest binds for all your skills, and then you do arena later and you go, okay, let me just like control this or shift this, like. Oh
Yeah.
man! Imagine if you just had it like what you said. Scroll up is focus counterspell. How goddamn juicy that would be! Like this is how you should be thinking, guys. IMO. I don't know. Just before you go too deep into the learning process of scuffing your keybinds, like imagine, and then
And my decurse is on 2, man.
yeah,
And
there you go.
which is a spell that you don't have to have on 2. If you're leveling, you never put the curse on 2.
Exactly. Decurse onto 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like from my limited mage gameplay, I really wish I had a list of things that I could spell steal.
Yeah, the juiciest thing, man, and this is when I won arena. Actually, I was playing against Restu Shaman and Retri Paladin, and the Paladin done a mistake that pop wings, man, and I got them, bro. This is 20% more damage, and when I pump pyro for 8k, that was crazy. But you should never use wings against pump pyro mage. I mean, you can if you make sure that he will not spell steal them. But when we are 2, or especially 3 of us, someone will got these wings, man, and it gets crazy.
My favorite thing about that is when you queue into a less experienced Resto Shaman Ret team and they not only give you wings, but they give you Bloodlust with it too, and you're just like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, spell steal is pretty sick. Takes my damn void shield sometimes.
Yeah, when you say take your void shields, I actually laugh when I take the engineering belt. And Kargoz, you have that shit.
Don't tell me you took that shit from me, bro.
Actually, when locks or shamans, they use that, man, I love to spell steal that. It helps me so much.
Yep. Yeah, I gotta be careful. Icy did that to me one duel. What about like cold snap macros and stuff? Is there a bunch of cold snap macros and stuff? I wish there was some kind of macro sheet. Maybe you know of one that we could link to people, pin it in the comments or something, or people watching that has just a bunch of mage macros.
I have one off the top of my head, but I don't use anything specifically for cold snap. I just have it bound by itself and then just hit the things I want after it quicker. It's always situational. Like, you don't always want the same thing when you're using cold snap. Like, sometimes you'll need the second block quickly. Sometimes you'll be using it to get extra haste. Sometimes you'll want to get another ice barrier out. So you'll be like, you'll have all your cooldowns used, for example. Like, you already use Welly and haste. Maybe your ice block's down. You'll use an ice barrier. And then you'll be getting bursted. So, like, cold snap for a quick ice barrier is really good.
Remind me
Sometimes
of a tip though, right? Before I forget, sorry, I'm gonna cut you off, bro. Like,
no, it's okay.
Isn't it a good best practice to just snap right after you block? Because then you might you need an ice block later, but you forget. Quicker. Yeah.
Not always though. Like, it's not always the first thing I want to do. like in some situations. Like I'll always want to do it like quickly after I block, so it's not delaying the cooldown a lot. But sometimes I will want to wait until I get another ice barrier. Like say I come out of a block, but my ice barrier is on like a 2-second cooldown. I want to wait that 2 seconds to get that extra ice barrier rolling before cold snapping.
Gotcha.
There's just like small things like that that change situationally.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, chat. I'll do some research and ask around and try to put together a little list of mage macros, and then I'll put it in the comments or make a little like paste bin to it or something. Just in the interest of time, I'll link it here for people watching after the fact and stuff. And then add-ons.
If I knew this ahead of time, I could have made one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can give you all my macros and stuff like that, especially for POM, because you have for POM, you have to have a specific way to go, so they can actually work. And now Kargoz, I will give you all the stuff.
Oh, sick, dude. That'd be huge. Yeah, that would be amazing, dude. Thanks for that. And let's finish, guys. Last thing, then we'll wrap up, is just add-ons. You know, I mean, this is pretty class agnostic, but you know, what add-ons are essential to you to play Arena at the level you want to play it at?
I mean, Gladius, that's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Without
Probably
this
the
one,
most important.
yeah, without this one, I don't know how you can do arenas. And the good stuff in Gladius is that you can right-click the frame and you can set your focus. And I think this is where we come. Are really high-rated teams, they change focus targets so quickly, and this is where you become very good. You know, if you change your focus very quickly, especially here for Frost Mage and Rogue, they change targets all the time. They go one target, they burn the trinket, they go different target, they then come back to another target, and this is where you have to change the focuses. And without Gladius, you know, it's quite difficult. You know.
Yeah. My secret sauce focus bind is caps lock. Yo, it means if I ever met whisper you in caps lock, it's not because I'm like screaming at you. It's just because I just had it on from the last game, but that's been a juicy one for me. The old caps lock focus, and then 1, 2, 3 on the Naga mouse to target. The different.
Yeah. This is, by the way, a good point. You know, I suggest people who is playing World of Warcraft to have a Naga Razor.
Yeah,
you know,
you're so right.
I mean,
It doesn't have to be that one specifically.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you have at least another 3 buttons on it, you know, so it helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm using my for spell steal and for slow.
Yeah.
I have 2 buttons on it.
What else?
I have so many spells on my mouse, it's disgusting. I have blink on scroll wheel up. If I click the scroll wheel, it will dispel myself. If I have I have spell steal on scroll wheel down. Shift plus those 3 scroll wheel functions are focus arena 1, 2, and 3. I have my ice block on a thumb button. I have counterspell and focus counterspell on a thumb button. I have focus polymorph on a thumb button. I have weapon swap for spell pen, offhand, and wand on a thumb button. I have a spirit staff weapon swap on a thumb button. Wrath, it ends up being deep freeze. Having like extra keybinds on a mouse is huge for things that you can just hit really quickly. Like having both counterspell and focus counterspell at the tip of my thumb at all times, no matter what I'm doing with my other hand, really strong.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's so big, man.
Yeah, just a shout out for all the mages out there, guys. You have to bind your wand. This is very important. You know?
Oh yeah.
And especially when you're playing against Rogue, who have Cloak of Shadows and he's on 1 HP, this is the only thing you can do. You can just throw the wand, you know, and wand it.
Your wand kind of slaps too, man. It does a couple hundred damage a pop, bro. Like, you know, it's big.
Proc cheat death with it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Going back to add-ons, you know, for me, the one really important add-ons is the one which it's telling you when your friend is like the voice lady, which is telling you when you're feared, when your friend is feared, or when they use
sound alerter.
Sound alerter, yeah. This is a big one, you know, and I think people should use it also. It helps a lot, especially on battlegrounds, man. You play 10 people there, and the spells are coming from everywhere. And somewhere back there, you listen, soul fire, and you, oh fuck, I have to block.
Yep.
and stuff like that. So yeah, this one, and I would really love to have a add-on which telling me when I have clear casting. You know why?
Recourse.
Yeah.
I don't know which one is doing that, man.
Recourse. It's a Recourse.
Oh, okay.
It's not really Recourse are kind of hard to get made correctly for private servers, but they'll be everywhere for TBC
For
Classic.
TBC, right? Probably
They
one
have
to tell you
websites with all of them on there, bro. It's crazy.
when to ice block
Oh.
a coil or something too. All types of ones, I would bet.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward for this one. Because you can't imagine how much focus I put to hear the noise from clear casting when it pops, so I know I can do bomb. And I'm looking into the corner all the time just to see this clear casting up.
Oh yeah. What else? Anything else?
Precursor, maybe?
Interrupt bar.
What is that, Ice?
Wait, what is interrupt bar? It
Yeah,
shows
I
you
know what it
all
is,
the
yeah.
for the stream.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess it'll be called on retail. It's probably called Omnibar or something different, but the old original one was called interrupt bar. But it's just basically a small box on the side of your screen that you can like hide, resize, and it'll have icons for the different spells you want to track, like Cloak of Shadows, Kidney Shot, Counterspell, Spell Lock, Blind, like anything you want.
Yeah,
And when it reads that in the combat log, it'll go from unhidden and it'll show the icon that was used and it'll show the cooldown on it, so you can track your enemy's cooldowns on your screen.
Yeah,
Gladi
yeah.
ends up being updated to have that function as well, but I still prefer interrupt bar, just because I can place it anywhere I want. It's
One-
smaller.
The one add-on that I forgot the name of too, but it's really important, IMO, is the one where it takes whatever CC is on you or your buddy or the enemy and it puts it over your portrait, and it actually has a timer on it and like a hand of a clock kind of spinning down so you can see the exact millisecond. So, you know, if I see somebody in a cyclone or in a stun, and I'll wait for it to be like 1.2 seconds remaining, and so I can just cleanly fear out of it like perfectly. Like if you try to play arena without that, like you'll try to fear somebody out of a cyclone or something, and then they'll still be immune, and it'll just like ruin the game. You'll like literally lose the game on the spot.
Arena live frames.
Is that
Arena
it?
live frames? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you need that one. Essential. They don't even have that on the beta right now. It's actually
Actually, you know what? I saw Klimp doing fucking beta stuff with that add-on, though. I don't know if he was on a private server, but he was streaming it, so I doubt he was. But he had that add-on.
Ooh.
yeah. See,
Probably
that's,
got someone that found it to work, made it
Yeah.
work.
that one's absolutely absolutely huge. Also, let me think. Another one that's pretty important is the one. So your abilities press when you hit your key, as opposed to like when you release it. There's a couple of them, but everything feels snappier when you have one of those. I think it's called like snowfall, and there's snowball, snowfall, and there's some other ones too. Key press. Look for key press add-ons. They're
In LBY,
Yeah,
as well.
Snowfall Key Press it was called originally.
yeah. That's another huge
Into
one.
LBY as well.
Oh, it's already built in? Yeah, LVY is pretty.
If you have
decent.
LBY, it's baked, yeah.
Yep.
Well, spell alerter too. There's sound alerter and spell alerter. Spell alerter is the one that shows up on your screen. Remember, it flashes on your screen real big, like huge.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys. I think that's it. I think we did. I think we got there. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. But one really important thing: type a 1 in the chat or something if you're alive. Chat. We'd really appreciate your help here.
Icicle is a good one too.
Need to ask a favor of you, chat. I need you guys to do something. If you don't mind. And what I need you to do is go ahead and follow these people. It's they've been there, you know, that's the number one way to support the, you know, these shows and stuff, make it worth their time. Icy and Instacrafd are both streaming. Well, Instacrafd hasn't streamed yet, but he's going to stream. And Icy has been streaming and is criminally underrated, might I say, Icyfresh. It's actually kind of
So yeah, I think you've done my Twitch twice. Can you do the IC one?
yeah, let me find Icy's right now. Here it is, yep.
I mean, I'm also in the chat. I'm sure they see it.
Yeah, he's in the chat too. Just if you could just takes 2 seconds, boys. Like just
Oh, no, I switched it. It's TBC at the end.
oh fuck. Sorry.
And before everyone thinks I'm already banned.
Icyfresh TBC. You took out the
Yep.
420, bro, to become more family friendly.
Come on, man. I gotta be sponsor appropriate.
True. Icyfresh 420 rebranded Icyfresh TBC. That's hilarious. Okay. Yeah, there it is, boys. If you could just be so kind, throw them a follow, man, make it worth their time.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kargoz. Thank you very much for inviting me, man. I mean, it's been a pleasure, you know. And thank you very much, Krix, for coming also.
Oh man,
Hello.
thank you guys for coming, bro. Appreciate it.
You look very knowledgeable. You know quite a lot about TBC and WoW.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
No, guys, I mean, TBC PvP is really exciting. It's really fun, and I hope people don't sleep on it. You know, like we can make it a thing, make it exciting, do tournaments, do events, show people why it's fun, get people
It's
into
gonna be
it.
so exciting, man.
Yeah,
TBC's where the arena esport aspect of this game all began when they released Arena. Like, it all started here, and if they're doing Wrath after this, they're probably gonna do it again.
yep.
I can see it rising up into hype again when everyone wants to play Arena.
Yeah, me too,
Like,
man.
no flame at Blizzard, like, the beta's really scuffed at the moment, but still there's so many people on playing the beta just because they're hyped to try TBC Arena, even if it's only skirmishes, even if people are like in blue gear without resilience, there's still constant arena queues going on the beta, and like so many new faces flooding into the scene. Looks great.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you what, too. The beta was kind of dead, sort of, or like not super popping, and then they released this the PvP phase. I guess it started to come back with the raiding phase, though. Right? That was pretty hype, killing mags and all that. That was pretty sick. But you know, the PvP has revitalized it. Now people are foaming from the mouth for keys again, and people are really trying to get in. It's gonna be great, guys. So, Icy, are you gonna stream? Man, we can toss the host over there. People can see you in action. He just got into the beta.
I just finished setting up the rest of my UI. I don't quite have add-ons yet, and I don't know who I'm gonna queue with. I could do some. I can turn it on. Why not?
Yeah, bro, do it up,
Do
man.
some skirmishes.
We'll host.
I'll get
I get
follow
it.
queue like we do.
Yup.
Chris, why didn't you go to sleep before? We could be doing Priest Mage right now, man.
Because I was streaming. I'm down to do
48-hour
something if you
stream?
want. I'm down to do something if you want. I'm not gonna stream it though.
I was just memeing with you, dude. You can get some sleep. You look tired.
Thank you. This
All
Red
right,
Bull
guys.
gave me another 30 minutes.
Rick's the real hero, staying awake after the 24-hour stream, making it to the Dark Portal. You'll love to see it. Okay. So, guys, over on YouTube, that link to Icyfresh TBC, he will be streaming after this. We're going to host him if you want to keep the party going and watch some of this Mage in action, this Mage talk in action. We're going to wrap it up here, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Dark Portal. Any final words, boys?
Yeah, I would like to thanks to everyone who supported me in all the private servers, and now all see you in Classic TBC, guys.
Hell yeah.
I just want to thank you again, Kargoz and Krix, for having us on. This was a great opportunity. It was really fun. I enjoyed the conversation, and looking forward to all the TBC hype.
Same here, brother. Rick's anything with you? Want to shout out the guild maybe on Herod? You know?
We love you.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the chat, by the way, not to you, Kargoz.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you too, but I love chat more.
Yeah. We'll catch you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.